सो है गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू अनदर वीडियो एंड स्वागत है एक और ब्रांड न्यू वीडियो में। तो मैंने पिछली वीडियो में बोला था कि हम नेक्सस में मैप करेंगे, बट उससे पहले मैं आपको लिनक्स के बेसिक्स थोड़े क्लियर आउट करना चाहता हूँ। तो जो ये वीडियो होगी वो आपके दो पार्ट्स के अंदर आएगी, ठीक है, क्योंकि मैं एक वीडियो के अंदर अगर सारा बताऊँगा तो एटलीस्ट 20 मिनट्स हो जाएंगे एंड मेरे को पता है कि इतना कोई देखता नहीं है, ठीक है। सो अगर आपने मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो आप कर सकते हो। वी आर वेरी क्लोज टू 120 सब्स एंड थैंक यू फॉर 100 सब्स। आई एम रियली like happy to see people are supporting me and I am getting a very good response, even though views are not that enough as compared to subscribers, but that's okay. So I have created many of the playlist where you can just go and watch. I have created DVWA series, I have created ethical hacking, advanced pen testing, web application security, try hack me walkthroughs, random studies and webinars. Okay, so I have just created the playlist, so you can just go and watch how it is done, and you can go through all the basics. So I have just added the basic and advanced for printing. So that is all. ओके, सो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हो, ठीक है। सो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलना एंड लेट्स मूव ऑन टू our Linux part. So in this video I will gonna talk in English, just because I know there are many kind of people who are having problems with understanding Hindi, and just because the Linux commands are very important to learn, so we will gonna talk about some basics commands, okay. And for reference I will give you one whole thing, okay. So first of all we are gonna learn about the Linux commands. So the first command is obviously how to convert your super user to root user. See, there are two types of owners, two types of people in Linux system. One is your SU, which means your super user, and another one is the root. Okay, so what is difference between super user and root user? Super user is you will have a partial permissions to do jobs, okay, on Linux system, but root user has the whole permission. Let's take an example of real life. For say that you are that let's take an example of a real life couple. So let's say their couple is of husband and wife. So husband is like the super user. If he wants to do or purchase something, firstly he have to ask his wife about it, and if she says yes, then only he would be liable to buy or purchase that thing. But wife is all about nothing to ask about, and she is called the root user, because she can buy anything, she can sell anything, she can go anywhere, like she has all permissions to do so. So that this example was generally is for for educational thing, for educational purposes, don't take it on your own, okay. So I firstly when you will install VirtualBox, okay, so it will ask you for the root password. So to shift to the root, you have to just type SU and press enter. Here it will ask you for the password, and I will enter my password, and then and uh, if my password will be correct, it will show you you are now a root user. But what say that you have done your work and you want to exit the root user. Some intellectuals, what they do is just they simply cross the terminal and open new ones. But if you don't want to cross the terminal and you want to work on the same terminal, just press exit, and you are now a super user. It's like your wife has the wife has given some kind of time limits, that you from this time to this time you can do whatever you want, you don't need to ask me permission. So it is like that. So, okay, so I am working on Parrot. If you are working on Kali Linux, this also it is the same command. So whenever I will go for SU, it will what he will do is he will just uh, get me entered into the present working directory. Okay, so next command is your pwd. Whenever you enter a pwd command, it always show you your present working directory in which you are in. Okay, so let's say I want to go for desktop. So for desktop you have to change the directory. So to change the directory, the command is cd desktop, and you can press tab space to auto complete it. And now I am in the desktop. Now what if I want to see how many files are. So for to see the files, we use ls. So ls is where you can see all the files. And what let's say that you want to see also the hidden files also. So you put -l. So from this you can see the permissions of the file. Okay, so I can see that I have given the root permissions to WPS Office and stuff like that. So uh, let's move on further and see what we can get. So let's say I have type ls-a. So ls-a will return every kind of hidden files. So hidden files in Kali or Parrot start with dot. So I want to just move one directory back to my home folder again. So I will go for cd space dot dot to come one directory back. And now if I go with ls -a, so you can see there are many hidden files that start with dot. Okay, so dot even the folders. So here you can see everything, and if you want to see the hidden files also, their permissions to you go for ls-al. So here you can say that I can get everything I want, and I can see what the permissions are given and what time they were modified. Okay, so yeah, so let's move on to another and say how can we make a directory from the terminal. So what in Windows we do is we go to that folder, particular folder, if you want to create, or if you want to go on the desktop, we just right click on it and create a folder. So in this case we use mkdir for like to create a directory. Let me tell you one bonus tip. If you want to create a directory in the desktop directory, but you don't want to go to a desktop, you want to create a directory from your present working directory to your desktop, there is a trick. So what you have to do is you have to just type desktop, and you have to just type the name. So I say that it will be name like Indian. So it will create a desktop one. It will create a like directory on desktop. It can work on everything. You just need to enter the path and the file name. If you want to go for ls, you can go for ls also. Okay, so let's say I have go for ls and desktop. So you can see that there is a folder which is named as Indian. Okay, so that's all. That's how you do it. Okay, so yep, so it will be a long video, but it is important to clear all your Linux concepts. Okay, so let's move on to further and let's see how to remove a directory. So I want to remove a directory which is in the desktop folder. So what you have to do is, if the directory is empty, you will go for rmdir and the file name. So it is on my desktop and Indian. So just because I know my directory is empty, I will go for this. And if you think that the directory is not empty, what you have to do is you will just have to type rm -r and the file name. Okay, so let's say the file name is file name, so you have to go for file name. Okay, so that's how you do it. Now you say that you want to go for a permission which is only run by the root user. So what you are going to do is you are asking your wife's what you call as Wi-Fi, can I do this? So yeah, she will say yes, you can. So what we have to do in Linux is like we have to go for sudo, which means super user do, which means that husband is asking for permissions to the wife. So super user, and I will go for super user ls. So as you can see, it will ask me for the password. This is the password from which you enter to the main screen of your. So you can see as it is done. So address is completed. There are many commands in Linux where you will need a super user sudo thing. So, okay, so if you don't want to go for sudo, you have to just change your super user to the root user. Now you are the wife, and you can do everything. You are not liable to anything. You are not have to ask to anyone. Okay, so let's say I want to exit this and I want to just directly go to the root directory rather than it will transform it to the present working directory. To do so, you have to just type sudo -i and you will enter it. Okay, so if you are working on a terminal and if you have entered a sudo password earlier, like it was asked for sudo password for override, so if you will enter once, then if you will use the commands after the password which will require sudo thing, it will not ask you for the password. You have to just type sudo and it will work. Okay, I hope you are getting the point. So now we have created a directory, we have listed the directory, we have changed the directory. Now let's say you have to find a now you want to find a file. Okay, so let me just exit from here and it said logout. Okay, so as you can see, I am at pwd present working directory. So let's say I want to locate a file. To locate a file, we use locate, and first say I want to go for locate John. So you can see it will list all the folders, all the things where the John is located. Okay, so that is the thing. Now what we are going to do is we are going to make a directory and empty directory on the desktop. Okay, and after that we are just gonna create a blank file. To create a blank file, we use touch. So let me just create a file of Indian on a desktop. So oops, sorry, my mistake. Okay, so directory is created. Okay, no issues. So let's go to the directory. Okay, so I am going to desktop first and then go to Indian. You can use the whole path also to enter once. Okay, so I am now in the, you can see there is no such file. Now if you want to create a file, you have to just use touch command to make a file. We will use touch, and for example we are gonna go for this, and it will create a file. And if you go for ls, you can see there is a file created, ls example. Now let's enter something. If you want to go for one liner, like you have to just enter one line on your empty file, you need to use echo. So I am using echo and I will go for Indian hackers community, and I will just output this using the greater than sign to Indian. Okay, so I am already in Indian, so I don't I will just give example and it will now in this. So now the two things we can do is we can go to Indian and then open the file to see the content, but I want to see through terminal. To see through the terminal, I want to use cat command. So cat example, now you can see the content of the file which was empty, but now it is not. So let's say I am creating one more directory on like desktop. Let's say I am creating imkdir hackers. So there are two directories and I will open these two directories. Okay, okay, so I have in Indian I have one touch file, and on hackers we will create one. So let's create one touch file. Touch, using touch we can create a file, and also I will teach you how to enter two commands in a single commands. So firstly we will gonna make a file. Let's say touch example 2, and where we want to go it, we want to throw it in hackers, and after that we will put a semicolon. Semicolon is used to, I'm sorry for this mistake again. We will gonna enter this in example 2, and after that I have put a semicolon. Semicolon represent that it is the end of command 1, and you can enter command 2 also. So let's say I want to echo the file. I will echo in echo I will go for let's say ethical hacking, and I will output it in hackers example 2. So now enter. If we see, if we just cat this file in hackers, we can say that it is containing some kind of data. So now we have done this. Let's say I have entered some commands. Let's say this, let's say cat, say it give me error. Okay, so let's say it give me error. Now if I want to clear the desktop, now the desktop is looking kind of messy. So if I want to clear the desktop, I can use two commands. One is clear, and another one is the shortcut to clear the terminal, which is control R. So I use control L, sorry, control L, control plus L you can use. Okay, so yeah, you can use for to clear the terminal. And now let's move on to see how to copy, how to move, and how to rename a file for to end this thing. Okay, so I have I have cleared most of the commands in this topic, but there are a lot of commands to be shared, but for now we will go for this only, and in the coming section I will introduce you with the new commands, and I will explain every command which will be new to you. Okay, so we have created this thing. Let's move. Let's firstly copy the file. If I want to copy a file of hackers example to Indian example, Indian folder, so what I will do is I will simply use copy command, copy hackers example to this is the syntax cp source space destination. So I want to go with the Indian and folder. If I will write the name of example here, what will happen that the content of the example2 will be copied in the example file, not the example2 file will be copied to the folder. Okay, listen carefully. If I will enter the command, if I will enter the file name, okay, rather than the destination folder, okay, with the destination folder, what will happen, the example2 content of example2 will be copied in the file of example which is in Indian. Okay, so I will go for this only. I want to copy the file, I don't want to copy the content. So if I would enter it, you will see that example is created. Now I have to remove this. Okay, so I will, for remove I can say that remove and just file name. Okay, so it is in Indian and example2. So now it has been deleted. Now, so one thing to learn is about how to copy a file in the current directory. Okay, so we don't want to copy a file from one folder to another, we want to copy the file to our present working directory. Okay, so copy to this is we can use cp and the folder name which is Indian example, and I will put a dot. A dot means that it will copy in the present working directory, which is for now is desktop. So I will put enter, and if I will go for ls, you can see that there is a file name example. Okay, so that you can use. Okay, so let me just remove the example thing, and let's go further and move rename a file. So let's say I want to rename a file. For that we will use mv. Okay, so mv is used to rename a file, and also mv is used to move a file from one folder to another. Okay, so it is also being careful that if you are using cp or mv command, if you just enter the file name instead with the destination folder, what it will do is in the copy it will copy the content from one file to another, but if you will go with the mv, what it will do, it will permanently delete the file of the source, and it will copy the contents to the destination file. Okay, so let's go for and let's see how we can move rename our file. So let's say I want to rename example2. So I will go to Indian, I will go for example. Okay, I will go to let's move rename this all. So I said the mv Indian example. I will go for destination to Indian, and I will go for example. Let's say you can go for keypad. So if you see, now the file name has been changed, but the content will be the same. Okay, if I open this, you can see the content is the same, but the file has been renamed. And the most important thing is, if you have changed once through the terminal, if you are done anything using the terminal, you cannot redo it. Okay, if you have deleted a file, it is permanently deleted. Okay, So let's change it to again to like example. Okay, so for better understanding, so I've changed it, and let's move a file from let's move the example2 to example. So to move it, you have to just enter the source file name to the destination folder. So for that, I will gonna use hackers example2, and after that I will put Indian and that done. Now it is permanently moved from one folder to another, and you can see as in on your screens. So that is the thing you can do, and some basic command I will also use some shortcut keys. For say that I have the I have to like redo the same thing, I get an error. Okay, let's say I get an error, that command not found, but I want to go for mv command again. Okay, so what I will do is I will use arrow keys to bring back that command. Okay, so that is can be used. And also if you want to go, some commands are very long at the end, so if you want to go from the back of the cursor to the front, you have to move to the for this letter. I want to move the cursor to the first letter, you can use control A and it will do it. And there are something more also, and let's say that I want to freeze the terminal, so I will go for control Q, and no, I mean control S maybe. Yep, control S, and I will go enter any command, so it will see that it is not typing, but actually it is typing at the back end. Once I will press control Q, it will unfreeze the screen, and you can see that I have typed something. Okay, so I will show you another example. Let's say I have typed Indian hackers community. So you can say that maybe spelling will be wrong, but that doesn't matter. Let's say that it is not typed, but it will be typed. I will just unfreeze it, so you can see that it is typing something. So this is the bonus tips for you on the Linux, and that's all for the commands, and we will meet in the next video with like nmap and some kind of stuff. So take care, bye bye, and I hope you will get to this commands by heart. Please remember, because it will require a lot in the further classes. That's all. Thank you and have a nice day.